You did get quieter.
I did get a little quieter.
Hey, there it is.
There it is.
I think the mics don't have like a good. Let me. It's not even. You know what I mean? So like talking here and talking here.
Hello, 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 hello.
Oh.
Got a little feedback action there.
Quit touching stuff. I feel like the story of this week's podcast is Chris quit touching my equipment. Every week, I just say, please stop
what's
touching
that
my
dude?
equipment. So, did we say episode 6?
No, we did not, but it is episode 6.
It is. Okay, so I will say you did get a lot quieter.
Did I?
Yeah.
Do you think it's the...
I think it's because your mic is aimed up. Yes.
How about that?
Much better.
Oh, okay.
So aiming it at your mouth instead of at the ceiling and then talking into the side of it.
Great idea.
Yeah.
Who would ever thought that?
Yeah. Well, that's what
Excuse
what
me.
I mean. These are not. I forget the different. Like one's like cardioid and one's like dynamic or something. I can't remember the difference, but one of them has like it picks up 360 degrees,
yeah.
and the other one is very linear.
Well,
so
stuff I've seen online is, they're all this different contraptions and stuff, and I guess different people have different setups. Most people are in radio studios or something like that.
Yeah.
Or whoever sitting on the couch. We kind of do our own thing here. So
You're definitely getting further away from the mic.
I feel
Just
like
lift it up.
Well, I had it lifted up.
It's
I felt like it was in my
No,
my,
you're
on my
yeah,
business.
perfect right there.
Right there.
Yeah, that's it. Look how loud you
I
got.
got it locked. I got it
son.
locked down. But see, then you have to keep up. You have to for that fall.
There's a little bit of drift.
A little bit of drift.
Okay, so I have no clue what we're going to talk about this week.
Just glad to be here, man.
Mr. Brett Hall's not here.
Not here.
I would show you his empty chair, but there's no camera on it because he's not here today.
Right there.
So I feel like I don't know.
What do you feel led to talk about?
Why Brett Hall's not here?
He said, I know he wasn't feeling good last weekend, so
Yeah. I think his whole family was sick.
Yeah,
I know his whole family was sick.
I know the girls were kind of out and about, and they weren't there today when I drove by, but last weekend the young girls, I'm not going to mention them by name, but
Sure.
they
Are they feeling better?
feel like they're better. The youngest one likes to hit me up with her iPad and send me text messages from time to time. So I'm like, hey, look
Just
who's
checking
alive. Just checking in.
Oh, she was dead on the couch last time
Yeah.
I was over there.
Yeah, so it was rough.
Well, in true ManCast spirit, we've got to talk about something related to men. So,
Yeah.
hey, I wanted to do a sports show
Okay.
a while back. I thought about, like, kind of I think it could be like a good prediction show.
I'm with
And so we're in the SEC, obviously.
That's
We're in
right.
Alabama, obviously. Yeah. We are both Alabama
that.
fans.
Correct. The only choice.
Roll Tide.
Roll Tide.
And I kind of wanted to see what your thoughts are this year on, like, where you think we're going to finish out. What are we ranked? Number 11 right now?
I feel like it. It's a bye week. LSU had a bye week this week too.
Mhm.
So it's one of those things where I wish we could just play a full four quarters.
Yeah, I agree.
We
seem like a light switch when you talk about, like, first half and second half.
That's right.
And it usually is that way early on in the season. I've noticed that, like, especially when we get a young crew, it seems like I don't know what Saban does in the locker room at halftime, but I need for him to do it in the locker room before they go to the game.
Well,
Real minor adjustment,
Yeah,
Saban.
yeah,
Just make
yeah,
that adjustment.
well, and I try not to get frustrated because I know it's just a bunch of teenagers out there playing.
Sure.
But it's easier for me once they get that first loss out of the. I'm like, well,
Yeah, I think I invited you over here, and you were like, I don't really. Earlier in the season.
I think it was a Texas game.
Was it?
Maybe
you should have came over
here. I
here.
don't know where it was. Maybe I don't know where y'all are at.
No, we watched the Texas game at the Halls.
Okay.
Yeah, we watched it at Brett's
I don't know
house.
what game it was, but after they finally got that first L out of the way, this season,
The only L.
Yeah, the only L. So
Thank you.
it wasn't too bad for me. My dad's the same way though. I don't understand why. He went to UA.
Is it superstition?
I don't know. I don't know.
Or
what
you
it
just
is.
don't want to, like, other people to see you get mad?
It could be, BC Chris might come out. I guess that's one of my things. I'm just like, man, typical Alabama crap. Here we go.
Yep.
Let's go back to the.
Let's see if we can just forget how to play football today.
Yeah, just play 4 quarters, guys.
Yep.
That's all I ask. 4 quarters.
I've noticed the biggest thing that I think I've found myself doing during Alabama games is complaining that they can't finish a tackle.
Mm-hmm.
I can't tell you how many times I've seen guys will contact, a defensive guy will contact a running back or a wide receiver or something, and he just can't make the tackle. It's like he grabs ankles and just lets go. And I remember back in the day, 2010, 12, those teams, right? I remember like when Alabama touched you, if they didn't make that tackle, that same guy was going to get back up and chase you down and finish the tackle. It was like we were the kings of like, you weren't getting away from us. You know what I mean? Finish the play.
That's right. So that during a couple of weeks ago, during the Arkansas game, excuse me, one of the guys was trying to tackle their quarterback at KJ Jefferson, who's a tank, and Saban had the best post-game interview, and it, there was some choice language in it that
I didn't see it.
It was hilarious.
Was it one of those messages to the players that he normally does, where like he's pretending to talk to the press, but really it's for his team?
Absolutely. He takes the pop off that water, and there's like 47 ites.
All right. So and look. So what we got to do here?
In case y'all didn't know, Leaman's been working on his impressions.
I've been working on my saving impressions. So look, there's a commitment to the process, and when we go in there and we play 4 quarters, see you got to get the ball to the guy that's going to make the play, and if he doesn't do.
That's awesome.
I'm trying to not turn Saban into like an old black man.
I'm trying not to make my head pop off my shoulders because I feel like my face is red.
Yeah, it's hot. I'm hot, man. I don't know what it is.
It's that hat, man. You had to put that hat on. But, yeah, one of the guys I work with.
My son said I had to wear a hat because I look better in a hat.
He's
so
repping that M up there.
Yeah.
So
where do you think what's LSU's next, right?
They had an off week and we had an off.
So we're both coming into this fresh.
Correct. In Tuscaloosa.
Okay, that's good. So what's LSU look like? I haven't paid attention to their team. The injury ridden. What do they got?
No, I think they're pretty healthy. Their quarterback, I think his name's Jaden Daniels.
I've heard that
real elusive guy.
Okay, is he mobile?
Yes,
okay?
Very mobile. I think that's what the SEC or what college football's turned into now. Is hey, if we can't 1, 2, 3 get the
ball
off,
yeah,
we're gone.
Yeah, I've noticed that it's like you don't even check back for a second read. Like when you make your progression, you read left to right, right to left, whatever you read, and then boom, you're scramble mode. There's no and part of it is, as big as our O line is, I'm surprised our pocket collapses as often as it does. I mean, these guys are. Didn't they say
6'5", 315?
Yeah, the average is bigger than the NFL average.
They're big boys.
Crazy.
Yeah.
So I just don't understand. It's like I think it's more of, I don't know this for a fact, but it seems like they just found athletes and turned them into quarterbacks because these guys. I mean, goodness, they could be wide receivers.
Well, I was watching the Tennessee game the other day. They were playing. I want to say they were playing Florida. Maybe no, that was Georgia, Florida. Tennessee was playing Kentucky, and they said their quarterback.
Oh, that was
throw
yesterday.
The ball 90 yards. Now I haven't seen him throw it 90 yards, but that's hearsay. Sorry,
he can throw it 90 yards, or he can hit a target 90 yards.
He can throw it 90 yards. So it's a long way to throw a football. He could
be a punter.
Yeah, I mean,
can you punt with your hands?
Man,
What's
a
punter?
Know.
60 or 70 is a big punt.
Yeah, I mean that's
90-yard pass. That's nuts.
That's crazy.
So he's on the 20-yard line throwing Hail Marys.
Yeah. I can't remember his name.
Kentucky's or Tennessee's?
Tennessee. I think his last
name's
he's
got the has he got dreads?
Yeah, I feel like it.
Yeah, tall guy. He's real tall.
I think he's only weighs like 220, but if you're 6'5", 220.
Yeah, that's what I said. He's tall.
Run a 4.40. You're good.
Dang. And he's over top of everybody at 6'5".
Right.
He's not worried about people blocking his view. So anyway, okay, so LSU coming up. Like, how is it? I remember the LSU where, like, it was a. I missed defensive football, and I remember the LSU game. I think it was 2012. They had beat us earlier in the season, and we ended up somehow back in the championship game.
Yeah.
And we held them to the 50-yard line for like almost the entirety of the game, if not the entirety of the game. It was a shutout, right?
Yep.
They didn't score it all, but if I remember, like the fourth quarter before they made it past the 50-yard line.
Yep.
I miss those days.
Yeah.
And now it's just an offensive game, which I'll give credit to everybody. Everybody's kind of settled and shifted with it. Bama being the worst.
They've had to change everything that they do. It's more like a West Coast offense where everybody's just, you've got to, because the quarterback being on his own, he's like an extra man. You don't have anybody to cover him, so you got to peel off whoever you're covering.
Yep.
If you got a mobile quarterback, it's one of those things where
your whole defense is playing spy.
Yeah. He's not just going to sit back in the pocket and throw the ball.
Yeah, And that was Alabama's big thing. It was a very pro-style offense.
That's right.
And it was, drop back, run your reads, and run the ball. Man, we could run the ball.
There's a bunch of run the ball memes out there.
Yeah, McClellan's good, but
Jace, he is good.
He's not run the ball, Alabama.
No.
He's keep them honest, right? I say that. I can't remember the balance. If I remember correctly, we were way lopsided last game, passing, running.
Yeah.
Normally Saban likes to try to, let me get that balance in, run and pass. But so LSU Bama next weekend. What's your prediction?
Man.
So I've never, in the history of the time I've known you, which is 4 years now.
Yeah.
I've never asked you, or 3 years. I've never asked you to predict a Bama game.
Ooh, man.
Am I stepping into territory you don't like to venture into?
I should have been, hence I didn't know what we were talking about, but, I like to kind of study things. But I don't know what Alabama's going to do. I feel like LSU's going to put up some points, but they both got good defenses. I'm always going to pick Alabama to win.
Sure, yeah.
So,
I mean, are we talking about last man with the ball, or are we talking about –
I feel like it's going to be back and forth.
Okay.
I'm going to say something weird like 41 Alabama.
Dang, big scoring game.
I feel like it's going to be a shootout to 31. I think it's going to be 10 points there.
So you think it's going to be back and forth, and then at the very end we're going to pull away?
Yeah.
It's tough with Alabama because Saban, props to him for giving people reps, but it seems like we always, anytime we get a healthy lead, we throw, all of our backup guys in, which is great. But then we just bring it back. It's like, oh, we're going to shut them out? No, we're not. We're going to give our fourth string guys some reps.
Yeah.
And we're going to let them score twice, and it's going to end up looking like, 30-21. And really it was 30-7 to begin with, So
well, there's more points out there that, the game wasn't as close as the points on the board show.
Sure, yeah.
I like those kind of wins, but
you
never know.
As a football fan, I want an edgier seat. I want an Alabama-Georgia playoff or SEC championship, 5 years ago, back when we were just edgier seat. I think, what was it, double overtime one time we went with Georgia?
Well, and Georgia's tough, man. Golly, they beat the stew out of Florida yesterday.
Did they? I didn't see that game.
So that benefit thing I went to, it was in Columbia, and I'm not going to name any. It was more of a social club type deal, but I wasn't there for that. But anyway, they had
just bring it up to your face more. Don't bring your face. There we go. Yeah.
They had
now it looks better.
Football games on, so.
Like just a broadcast area or whatever?
Yeah, there's a couple pool tables in there. There's an outdoor deal where, it was good. It was good to see everybody. So
cool.
I enjoyed that.
So Alabama's going to beat LSU 41-31. 41-31.
Probably won't even be close. That's why I'm not on the sports book. But
it's going to be 14-7 or something.
It's like 6-3.
Yeah, you're going to get somebody's getting a safety. It's going to be an odd,
like
weird
a baseball
number in
game.
there. Yeah,
hockey.
So so Alabama finishes at LSU. Then we've got Southern. Who do we have as our?
I think it's.
Let me look this up.
University Tennessee Chattanooga, maybe.
Okay.
I'm actually going to try. I've requested 4 tickets to that game, so that doesn't really help. I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, you're going to go to a game?
I'm feeling like it.
Have you been to any games?
Not in the past couple of years.
Okay. Is it a superstition thing?
No, it's just I've been to a lot when I was a kid.
Oh shoot, we got Kentucky.
Yeah, we play Kentucky.
Then
too.
Chattanooga. Okay.
Okay, Kentucky, then UT Chattanooga, then Auburn.
Yeah. Right. So Kentucky. Yep, Kentucky on the 11th. That's going to be at Kentucky, I think. And then is the Iron Bowl at Auburn?
Mm-hmm.
And Chattanooga's at Bama.
Yeah, that'll be homecoming before.
So they beat LSU 41-31. Kentucky.
I feel like
I mean, Kentucky's unranked. They're not really. They're Kentucky.
Yeah.
They're like, we beat Florida. That's all we care about.
Well, and going back to watching some of the games yesterday, Kentucky and Tennessee played. Kentucky's got a real good, strong.
That was a
running
tight
back.
game.
It was.
It was a really tight
And
game for Tennessee being number 13.
Yeah.
And Kentucky unranked, but that's kind of a rival. Kentucky's got a few of those rivalry games, right? Louisville, Tennessee,
Louisville's
Florida.
good too, so.
Yeah.
But that's a whole different conference. I like to stay in the SEC.
But it's one of those, like, when you're playing a rival game, it don't matter what you're ranked.
Yeah,
it don't matter what conference
out.
you're in.
Yeah.
It don't matter anything, right?
That'll be the Iron Bowl this year.
There's aggression. There's all kinds of mental stuff that goes
right.
into it. Yeah. So it doesn't matter who's ranking. So
that's right.
Okay, so we handle Kentucky, obviously.
Handle UT Chattanooga, I would hope.
I hope. Goodness. This will be a Louisiana Monroe of like 2006, 7? Or 8. 2008, I think.
Yeah.
They beat us.
It's been a hot minute.
We paid them like $1 million to beat us.
Yeah, that's right.
Here's your new stadium.
And then you got Auburn down on the plains.
Yep.
So
what happened last year in the Iron Bowl? We beat them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Bryce took them on a 2-minute drive.
Okay. So that's right. I remember that. What's their they've got Ole Miss's old coach, don't they? Or Mississippi State. Who do they?
I don't
they
even
do.
know who their coach is.
They do. It's who's Ole Miss?
Hugh Freeze.
Yeah, Hugh Freeze.
Hugh Freeze. He was at Liberty. Ole Miss had some shenanigans going on. Went to Liberty, cleaned his game up. Now he's at Auburn. But they're still running
Auburn
a 2-quarterback.
take whoever they can get at this point.
They're trying to run a 2-quarterback system. They beat Mississippi State by 14 yesterday.
Did they?
Yeah. So
Mississippi State's kind of
nah.
They're up and down. You know what I mean? I'll tell you what. I'm loving Ole Miss.
Yeah, I like Lane Kiffin.
Oh,
a lot of people don't like
dude.
him, but he's one of those guys that
he's doing it. He's doing his deal, man.
What do you call it? A Sabanite? Somebody that learned under him. Like every coach in the SEC.
He's one of the assistants.
Yeah, he's one of the grad students.
Yeah. So I mean, he hasn't pulled off the upset yet.
No.
So far, Texas A&M and Tennessee are the two teams that have beat Alabama, and 3 Kirby Smart, obviously.
Yeah.
That's three assistants that have beat Bama. Under Saban's helm,
correct.
right?
There you go.
Yeah, I'm always rooting for Lane Kiffin. I love.
He cracks me up. He's so unpredictable. You never know what he's going to do.
He did. He just had a tweet the other day that was pretty hilarious. I think Auburn, they beat Auburn, right?
Yeah.
Last week, I think.
Yeah.
And so they beat Auburn, and Auburn posted. I think it was Lane Kiffin and Hugh Freeze shaking hands before the game. Or no, I can't. Yeah, it was before the game, and it said like, it said Lane Kiffin meeting his biggest, or Hugh Freeze meeting his biggest fan.
Okay.
Saying that Lane Kiffin was his fan.
Okay.
And then Lane retweeted after the game was over and saying Hugh Freeze shaking the winner's hand. He just loves taking digs, man.
He does. I like that. I can respect him.
He had something earlier about, because Hugh Freeze, he can't be on social media.
No.
I think that was part of his Ole Miss deal or something.
Yeah.
It's like Lane said something about somebody contring his social media post or something. It was hilarious.
Got you.
That dude's always looking for the angle. But he did good at Middle Florida Atlantic.
I'm not sure about that team.
Florida Atlantic, FAM, Florida FMU,
FAMU, something like that.
Yeah, FAMU something.
Yeah, it was one of those deals, which I don't know their conference, but it's like, hey, let me get my feet back under me type deal.
He did good.
But
Props to
at
him.
Ole Miss, man, I mean, I can't hate on them. They
they're a good program. They're number 2 in the West right now, right?
They're doing good. So
6-1.
Yeah.
Yeah, 6-1. We're 7-1.
Let me tell you, a dark horse is Missouri.
Dude, they came out of nowhere.
Yeah, out of nowhere. I don't know. It's like an RKO out of nowhere. Like we were watching wrestling earlier, but not that kind of wrestling.
Collegiate wrestling.
That's right.
I used to think Missouri and Mizzou were 2 different teams. I would hear Mizzou, and I was like, what?
Yeah.
That sounds like Missouri.
They just got in the conference.
Oh, man,
they
good
did
times.
come out of nowhere. I don't know. I don't know anything about them. I just know
I
they
don't
lose a lot.
They're technically in the SEC, but you're right. I really don't keep up with them.
Next year, you got 2 more teams coming in, Texas and
Oklahoma. Yep.
Oklahoma got beat by Kansas yesterday.
Did they?
Yep.
I saw UCLA put it to Colorado too.
Yep.
And then what was it? Dion said he was going to replace his entire O-line or something because they got his quarterback hurt.
That guy's a trip, man. And his other son got called for targeting, and I saw some kind of video going on with that.
Really?
On the interwebs.
He got the call.
Yeah.
Ejected.
Mm-hmm.
Is dude
I didn't
okay?
watch the video. Yeah, I don't really think it was. I mean, there was a little
like
bit
technical,
of helmet. Yeah, a little
like
bit
technically,
helmet. Air quote, technically. Targeting.
yeah, like I got
I mean,
to
it's a
call
good
this.
hit, but
It was football 10 years
it
ago.
was. It
yeah.
was. I watched a little bit of a lot of games, So
Just a recap.
yeah.
So LSU, Kentucky, Chattanooga,
Then Auburn,
Iron Bowl.
Iron Bowl.
That's a coin toss game. Unfortunately,
That's
I wish it
spoiler.
wasn't.
That's one of those games where I'm going to ruin your season.
Yeah.
If you lose this.
Yeah,
game.
Auburn don't care nothing about anything other than I'm going to ruin your season. Yeah, I'm going to make you a 2-loss team,
That's right.
and you're done.
Yep.
So okay, let's say they don't.
They don't beat us.
Let's say they don't beat us. Now we're a 1-loss team.
Yeah.
Texas is looking great, which means that loss doesn't look as bad to me,
Yeah,
right? Texas is number 3, I think. No,
I can't remember. I'd have to get the.
I think they're number 3, or somebody's got them predicted to go in number 3.
Well, next year I think they changed the playoffs to like an 8-team. But
yes,
I mean, but you got the Oregons of the world. You got
number 7. Texas is number 7.
Okay.
4th in the Big 12. Big 12's killing it this year.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Dang.
But they don't. I mean, Washington's a pretty good team, so you only got 4 spots, so you're only gonna get one from the SEC, and it's gonna be the SEC championship. So
well, that's what I'm saying. If Bama beats Georgia, right, in the SEC championship,
yeah,
what's it look like?
then you're in. I mean,
what's Georgia's record right now? Undefeated,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, they
So
ain't
Georgia's a 1-loss team.
Yeah, but their first 4 games were like Ball State
some
and
cupcake.
like Indiana Technical Cal College University. I'm like, God, who made this schedule, man?
Yeah.
No wonder y'all are winning.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try not to.
That's a Kirby Smart thing right there, buddy.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
call him Kirby Smart for a reason.
I'm just glad he doesn't have that fifth grade haircut anymore, where they put a bowl on your head and kind of trim around it. Got a big boy hair.
Chili Bowl.
Yeah.
We used to call it Chili. Okay, so the AP Top 25 has Georgia number 1, 8-0, Michigan number 2. That's always like Michigan, Ohio State's going to kick one of those out.
That's right.
Every year
That's
it does
right.
that. Every year it seems like those two teams are right up there in the rankings, and then boom, one of them's gone.
Yeah.
So that's the problem with having a late season loss like that. Is you can have if you're not SEC, you can have a great year.
Yeah.
You get a late season loss like that to a good ranked team.
Yeah.
And you're gone.
So going back to what you say Alabama wins the SEC championship, and you got Georgia and Alabama with 1 loss apiece. Do you go strength of schedule? Is that how that works?
I mean, I feel like you
would have to figure out
there's
something.
the committee, right? So
Yeah.
it's not just one thing that's going to be the deciding factor, but you got a lot of teams that you got to jump over. I'm looking here, and I mean, you're talking Ohio State, Florida State, Washington. Then you get into the Oregon, Texas, and then we're number 8, actually.
Okay.
Number 8. So we must have jumped up after the
Tennessee win.
Yeah, after the
and
win.
a bye week.
Yeah, we jumped up after
I'm
the
curious
bye.
what the spread's going to be.
They're
this
like,
week.
well, Alabama didn't lose this week technically,
Yeah.
so I guess we'll bump them up.
Well, I mean, if the quarterback play, I mean, he's an athlete. That guy's like a thoroughbred running through.
But I mean, you're
so,
talking the entire top 5 is undefeated right now.
Yeah.
That's a big. But
But a lot of those
play.
are probably going to cancel each other out. They'll play somebody where they'll.
Florida State's not playing anybody.
Yeah, well, they're next,
Not in this list.
They're
right?
And Clemson's horrible now.
Wait, do they play Georgia?
No.
So Florida State's not. Yeah, Clemson.
Yeah, because they're in the ACC. Yeah,
Man.
Dabo's like.
Dabo Swinney's like, I need
don't even think
another
they won
Trevor
this
Lawrence.
weekend. That's right.
I need to find me a long-haired kid that can
Yeah.
throw a ball.
Goldilocks.
So Georgia's obviously we got Bama, right? So if Bama wins out, right, we got SEC championship. If Bama doesn't win out, is that Ole Miss representing the East or the West?
I don't know. I'd have to check.
It's
that.
got to be.
Yeah.
They're number 2.
Yeah.
So that means we would have to lose the Iron Bowl, and Ole Miss wins the Egg Bowl, right?
Yeah. Well, that's a given.
Yeah,
there.
especially the way Mississippi State's looking.
Yeah.
So they win the Egg Bowl, and they're playing Georgia for the SEC championship. They're going to get demolished.
Yeah.
So Georgia's going to be SEC, right? So and Georgia's number 1 anyway, so they're going to get a seed even if they get a loss probably, unless it's a loss to Bama.
Yeah.
Wait, no. Who else would they lose to? They got nobody.
Who, Georgia?
They got Georgia. Who's their rivalry game?
Georgia
Florida.
Tech.
That's their. No, that's their Thanksgiving game.
I feel like it is. I feel like they play Georgia Tech because everybody has kind of like their own
No, man, it's got to be like a Florida.
You're going to have to .com that.
Georgia Tech. Okay, so.
In hot Atlanta.
Oh my gosh, dude! They play Georgia Tech.
Yeah. ACC school. That's like you might as well just play Vanderbilt. Combine the teams. Y'all play together.
You ever seen the Vanderbilt coach's eyebrows? Mason, what's his name? Something Mason.
Mm-mm.
Oh, what's his name?
I know
Mason.
it's not Anthony Mason. He played for the Knicks.
Who is something Mason? Hold on.
George Mason?
No, it's I can't remember his name. Anyway, something Mason, but he does interviews and his eyebrows are just like this the whole time.
It's like the Rock.
They're doing their own little dance. Yeah, it's great. Okay, so I mean, sorry, let me go back to this.
Still can't believe they played Georgia Tech. Sometimes I wish we could play our Iron Bowl at the beginning of the year.
So Michigan and Ohio State,
Get
right?
it out of the way.
Then you got Washington and Oregon.
Oh, I thought they already played. They
That means
played
Washington beat Oregon, right?
They did. That Phoenix, Fenix, is their
They did beat
quarterback.
Oregon. They barely beat Oregon.
Yeah, it was like a 2-minute drive. It was a great game. But
So-
Oregon's got Nix, that boy that used to play at Auburn.
Bo Nix, yeah, he's like 38 years old.
Yeah.
He's. I think this last week he broke the record for the most starts of a quarterback in NCAA history.
Got 2 degrees. He's a red shirt senior.
Yeah, he's doing it, man.
That's hilarious.
So Bo Nix is at Oregon. So Oregon's number 6. So Washington, Oregon already played.
Yep.
So what happens there in their conference, though?
Is that the Big Ten?
Yeah.
Or Big Ten, I guess.
Are they going to play again?
I'm guessing. I mean, I don't
Or do they have like a Big Ten East?
I don't have any idea.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to think, where Notre Dame lines up, and then you got your Ohio States, Oklahoma.
Let's see what Florida State's cupcake schedule looks like.
Yeah.
So they
still
play
gotta play
Miami.
Florida. They got to play Florida at the end of the year.
They play Pitt next, Pittsburgh. Then they play Miami, which is Miami. I mean, they got a great fan base.
Miami ain't
but
been relevant since Gino Toretto back in the 90s.
they were relevant when Mark Richt was there, weren't they?
I feel like they were.
the first
they
time.
were okay.
Yeah. So then you got North Alabama, and then they finish out at Florida, who is unranked.
They play UNA. I'm going there tomorrow.
Are you?
Yeah.
Well, it's at Florida.
Yeah.
So
That's hilarious.
So yeah, Florida State's guaranteed to win out except for the Florida game, which that's a big rivalry game too. But I mean, yeah, I don't see any. I mean, I don't know, man. I don't see any. I don't see it moving.
In these, yeah, it's going to be tough. That's why I'm not on the committee.
But we're creeping up, though.
Yeah.
Or let's say this. We've got the furthest removed loss outside of the undefeateds, right? So the undefeateds go to the number 5. Oregon's on a 2-win streak. Texas is on a 2-win streak. We're on a 6-win streak. Next after that's Penn State on a 1-win streak. Oklahoma's on a 1-loss streak.
Yeah,
I mean, we have the most separation between us and our loss, and our loss is to a good team who's literally right underneath us.
Yeah.
Like Texas is number 7, we're number 8. So
well, it goes back
see.
to that, hey, can we play 4 quarters type deal,
Yes,
if we
show
played 4
out.
quarters at Texas, we'd have beat them,
Yeah.
you know. So I guess where my frustration comes in is like you never know what you're going to get. You could be the number 1 team. Alabama could be the number 1 team in the country, and then they have a subpar performance. You know?
It's week to week.
Yeah.
Very just non-consistent.
Yeah.
So,
but I mean, I know they're a young team, and I mean that's why Nick Saban gets paid what he gets paid a year. He knows how to coach.
he knows how to build them up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Imagine what next year will look like.
Yeah. So we'll see.
Well, Chris, that's officially been 30 minutes. It doesn't feel like it, but we have talked for football. We've talked about football for 30 minutes. Yeah. I think that's
pretty good.
a little sports podcast, right?
I mean, we're not a sports podcast.
I put sports in the description.
Okay.
I put, life, sports, all kinds of stuff.
I'm good with whatever, you know.
We got to get Brett Hall back in here so we can talk about some serious stuff.
That's right. He can break it down. He'd have been talking about plays and route running and all kind of stuff. He's technical. I just hope he gets feeling better.
I think he's reeling on his loss this season.
Yeah.
He finished out the flag football. I think he had a winning season overall. I think he was 4-3.
Yeah.
I think it was 4-3, but
the Chiefs
he lost
won it
in the
all.
first round of the playoffs. Yeah.
Yeah, he texted me and he was like, because I think I was out of town, and he's like, well, we went ahead and lost. I don't know who they lost to.
The Chiefs.
Oh, it was?
No, first round was I can't remember who it was. It wasn't the Chiefs.
Because the Cowboys ended up finishing in second.
Yeah, I think it was the Cowboys that we lost to. Yeah.
Okay.
We went out to dinner afterwards, and he
Okay.
was at dinner. I was like, "You good, buddy?" He's like, "Man, I just can't. I don't like losing."
Yeah.
I'm like, "Hey, man,
I get it.
they're 6.
Yeah.
It don't matter, man.
Yeah.
It's all
about the
about
W.
execution.
It's all about the W.
All right, Chris. Well, thanks for hanging out with me.
Man, I enjoyed it.
Episode 6 of the ManCast
That's
and the
awesome.
Wraps. And as always, you guys can check it out on all of the streaming services and YouTube for the video of the podcast. Other than that, we will. Oh no, the maximum recording time has been reached. I'm gonna hit that. Well, we'll pick up where we left off there.
We'll let Leaman edit that out.
Apparently,
and,
the maximum recording time has been reached right as I was trying to end the podcast. So we'll wrap it up for a final time. Thanks, guys, for listening. Be sure and check us out on the podcast sites and on YouTube if you want to watch the video. And we'll see you guys for episode 7.
Have a good week.